flash in, and he steals the farm! How did that connect by Edgeway? Hello everybody and welcome back to the Amazon EU Masters. We're getting ready to go into our second game of the day. This is Anorthosis from Famagusta taking on a Go Rogue. It's obviously GLL's last hope, who are currently 0-3 in the group, so they definitely need to find a win if they want any capability to find any world where they're making the playoffs. I think if they lose this game here, they're out of the running. I think that's it for them, unfortunately. Go Rogue are 1-3. Sorry, 1-2. Getting a little ahead of myself there. 1-2 right now, so they need to also keep a win. They need to find themselves a win and keep their hopes going to take on UCAM, because UCAM just beat out Misfits Premier, and things could get spicy here in Group A. Yeah,
very spicy. You know, yes, it would be a bit of a shame to see Anorthosis drop out, and then obviously it turns into a 3-horse race instead of a 4-horse. But at the end of the day, Rogue, you know, organization-wise, we expect them to usually go far, right? Wasn't necessarily the case last time around, but here, definitely the expectation still for a lot of us is that they should. And of course, this was the last time that these two teams met on, I think it was the third day. And, you know, all things considered, I think Anorthosis, you know, gave Rogue a little bit of trouble. And in general, I think Anorthosis also haven't necessarily had a terrible first round robin. Yes, 0-3 results wise, not great, but performances not all doom and gloom. If you remember back on day one, they almost pushed Misfits into a very, very uncomfortable position where realistically, I feel like a couple more decisions that were maybe a little more tempered, and Anorthosis could have taken down Misfits.
I genuinely think they could have. It's one of those things where it's been the story a lot where it's like, oh man, all these teams are so close to beating out some of the top teams, because we've had some amazingly hype matches, and you know, some really good plays from some of these kind of lower ranked teams and lower expectation teams. At the end of the day, there are still some clear problems, and that's why these teams have been struggling to find these wins. But you know, I think there's still that hope, there's still that opportunity. We'll have to kind of keep our eyes peeled here, because Anorthosis, it's not about playing upset. While they can upset the apple cart, and while they can really change the outcome of this group, if they can find a win here, if they can somehow chain 2 extra wins back to back, things could get really, really spicy here in this group. So, you know, I got my eyes on these teams, especially Rogue. You know, if they lose this game, it makes their chances of making playoffs even harder, because this is arguably the easiest game Rogue are playing today.
Yeah, exactly the point, right? If they are to make it to the quarterfinals, to the knockout stage, winning this game is a must. There's nothing else to really say about it. You can only win this game really if you want to make it to quarters. Otherwise, you know, you're then staring down the barrel of that Misfits and UCAM. We saw how well both of these teams were just playing and how neck and neck they were. Rogue only beat Anorthosis in round 1, and their matchups into the other two weren't necessarily too stellar either. You know, positives, yes, but again, sitting 1-2, losing to Anorthosis, going to 1-3, like you say, both the teams, both UCAM and Misfits being tied up, it makes it still that you've got to pick up a win against both of them and hope that neither of those two teams pick up a win additionally.
Well, we're into picks and bans. We're seeing that Rakan getting taken away. Understandable ban there. Zed from Jojic as well is a comfort pick for him. And I feel like if you're going to find wins for Anorthosis, comfort is honestly not a bad thing to lean on. Zed is something they're not going to be practiced into, and if Jojic can snowball that champion, I promise you, it still does a lot of damage. You might not see it that much in competitive, but if Zed gets fed, it hurts.
We did see over in Group D, Pride Stalker pulled out the Zed jungle.
Yes, we did.
It was phenomenally strong. Would be fun to see a little more Zed jungle, but of course, into picks and bans, and like you said, banned away. It's been banned away against Anorthosis every single game, so it's not just a today thing for Rogue, for comfort, but yes, moving over to the other side, Rakan and Lee Sin taken off the table for Pyrka and Lurox. Of course, Lurox is very, very prominent on that Lee Sin, very strong on this champion, and Zin's out also removed away. So that leaves up just the Viego in terms of that sort of trio of S-tier-esque champions in the jungle. We'll see if Anorthosis want to ban it, or obviously ban away something else to maybe put even more pressure on that jungle pool and take something up in instead. Camille removed away from Sinmivak as well. Sinmivak commonly has that banned away, and Golden Toast gonna have safety of the Ezreal. So expecting the Viego lock-in for Dominant, though, of course. There are a couple of AD carries up and available. And also, I think crucially, the Thresh has been left open if Levi wants to play it. But of course, Viego is kind of just the priority when it comes to that jungle pool left up.
All right, let's see what the next pickup will be here. Obviously, like I said, the Zinzal's been taken away, Lee Sin's been taken away. Good to see that Trundle show its head.
Yeah.
Typically as a pickup when, you know, some of the better stuff has been taken away and does pretty well into these champions. As the Irelia going to get locked in here. It's flexible for both Sinmivak and Chres, and the Varus going to get picked up for FLICKR. Oh,
He's not going to lock in.
He's not going to do it. I mean, comfort man.
He's not going to lock it in.
It.
Look, I would love to see it, and I'm sure the viewers would love to see it, chat would love to see it, but it's just not going to happen. We'll have to see. I think probably the most likely choice for Golden Toast is something like that. Yeah, Tristana land on it quite a bit. I want to say it's his most played coming into the tournament, but I also think Kai'Sa was also up there. So one of those two. Kai'Sa obviously has a much rougher time into the Varus, and Thresh still up, but realistically, you know, iLevi doesn't really play it too much, and Ryze just going to be the answer instead for Jojo. So of course, spoke about it last game, having that realm warp up and available, being able to move over to the side lanes, very, very powerful tool. We'll have to see where the Irelia obviously goes though. Still flexible. If it is in the mid lane, you know, can cause troubles for Ryze in the early stages because of how much kill threat is there. Yes, Ryze can kind of lock her up, but things can still get difficult. And Rumble hover. And they've got the Irelia there, so honestly, locking it in wouldn't be terrible for the mid jungle, and it will be the case. Rumble, not a pick we see too frequently anymore, obviously, since the array of changes he had to just some of his numbers to try and push him out of the jungle. Still, technically flexible though. So
could this be? Yeah, I was about to say, could this be a lane Rumble potentially?
If the matchup lines up for it, yes. We'll have to see though. Rogue gonna immediately remove away the Braum, of course, such a strong kill lane, and we'll have to track that Rumble. But I'm expecting mid jungle would probably be the thing here, just because AD plus AP sort of balance off, and I really like the Kennen ban naturally. I think as we progress further into the tournament, Kennen's going to either turn into a first 3 rotation pick or just an outright ban in second phase in a lot of cases, as it just wins games at the moment, and the ultimate's so impactful. I think just because of the way team fights are played out, it often means that there are many flanks up. And opportunity.
I also think team comps are fairly short range as well, so they're all typically quite clustered team fights, so Kennen thrives in those environments. The Jax going to get denied from JaxPlank, no surprises there. We'll see what the final ban is here for Anorthosis, and you know, there is the option, you know, it's in his name. Didn't really play too much GP domestically this split, but is a champion in his name, and it can offer, you know, some great team fighting tools. It can offer a pretty okay laning phase, depending what they're going to go for. But they're going to lock in the Leona here to go hand in hand with that Varus. There's a lot of CC, a lot of fight setup coming in from the Go Rogue bot lane, and now we're going to see what Anorthosis want to finalize this. Finalize rotation.
You know, I think they are looking for a GP maybe. Jason Kennen bans. It could also be something like the Renekton too, but
yeah.
2 ranged sort of lane bullies, I think, yeah, it just makes a lot of sense. And now you have the opportunity to kind of just bombard the bottom side, no pun intended, where, you know, you just send loads of members, you know, via the Realm Warp, and then obviously you get that pseudo 6th man with the Cannon Barrage, and it's going to be a full build war lock-in on the bottom side.
Let's go!
Got the Pyke and the Gangplank.
About this.
And that just says to me, immediately, Anorthosis, they're playing to the bottom side. You know, if JaxPlank gets counterpicked here by something, you know, very lane bully-esque, Renekton, Gnar, maybe a set to come out from Sinmivak, he doesn't really care, because he's going to get to scale to that point where eventually the barrels and all of the zone control available to him will just be such a big threat for Rogue to have to deal with. And much of the Rogue composition kind of wants to come into the Gangplank anyway, so he's going to be fine as time goes on. So I'm looking at Anno and I'm saying, all right, they're just full sending it to the bottom side. They don't really care about anything else. Try and get priority in the mid lane for Jojo. Make sure that Chres can't take over this 1v1, and that's where they're going to send the numbers. And as for Rogue, I think realistically the game plan coming into it was likely a similar thing in their draft. If you just remove Anorthosis' draft, would kind of spell that too. You play for the 2v2 in the mid jungle, and then maybe you start to shift that priority, or that pressure rather, down to the bottom side. So I'm expecting a bloodbath, I think, is the TLDR, because you've got a very volatile mid laner on the side of Rogue in the mid lane. You've got 2 junglers that love early action, and you've got effectively what is a near full kill bottom side on both teams.
I mean, yeah, you hark back to like the hilly stuff we had during the LEC finals and stuff, you know. faking being being alone or sitting just out of vision. You know, I want to see this aggression from this Pyke. You got that Tristana down there as well, so you have the damage. You have what you need to work with. Anorthosis, remember, they need to find this win. They are 0-3. The GLL want a representative in the playoffs as we head to the Rift for our second game of the day. This is the third seed from the Ultraliga versus Greece's only hope.
Yeah, and I will say, you know, if you remove the nameplates, right, you just look at the two drafts, and you ask me, what one do I like better? I kind of lean into the Anorthosis side of things. I like the spiciness of the Pyke pick. I think they've got a strong potential 2v2 in the bottom side, and everything kind of just fits together and makes sense, right? They're very happy to allow Rogue to come into them. There's very limited engage on the Anorthosis side, but when you look at Rogue's composition, it's like, okay, outside of FLICKR, where they may be playing for range, they want to come into us anyway. And all of these champions thrive at kiting back and dealing damage simultaneously. So I look towards Rogue in the mid game. If they don't procure a very early gold lead, how exactly are they going to look to play out these team fights?
All right, well, how are they going to play it out will be a question answered hopefully soon. Because
Yes.
like you said, you're expecting a bloodbath, you're expecting action.
Yeah, I think.
And I do have scaling as well, though. That's something you think you can rely on heavily. You've got the Ryze, you've got the GP. As this game gets later and later, it gets scarier and scarier. There's Pyke just going to spot out Levi. Levi going to be heading back towards safety as JaxPlank's going to make his way up towards the top side. And the laning has started. Keep our eyes on the jungle a little bit early. I'm especially interested in Lurox on this Rumble. It's been a while since we've had a Rumble actually rear their head on the Rift.
For a little bit of a TLDR, what effectively happened with Rumble in terms of the nerfs is he's a little bit slower on those first couple of camps, but he starts to return to, you know, sort of that super early game nerf Rumble, where he still does a bunch of damage and gets super aggressive, or oppressive rather, not aggressive. But yes, also aggressive whilst being oppressive, I suppose. And it can definitely be very overbearing, I think, especially for JaxPlank and Jojo, where there's not really a lot of mobility in those champions. That red carpet can be very, very hard to have to deal with, especially if you're talking about having to also dodge around the potential Mega Gnar, Irelia, and Leona diving onto your face. So Lurox, you can see, hits level 3, and now at this point, he's effectively back to the old Rumble, but all in on the bottom side.
Oh, the flash comes down from FLICKR. There's Igniting Flash traded for just one summoner spell, so we'll be up in favor of a Go Rogue, but now they have to be careful because their health bars are alone. If I can just duck into a bush and recover some health for free.
Just out of vision, and Lurox, I think he understands the potential threat and the aggressiveness that Anorthosis want to play towards on this bottom side, because 4 camps into bot, and Dominance also here, trying to cover the bottom side gank. Will be forced off that bottom side Scuttle. Jojo already out of mana, trying to trade into Chres, but again, spoke about the volatility, and it's also just such a difficult lane for Ryze to navigate in the early stages. Hooked! Black and no flash!
That is the lockdown they need! First blood to iLevi as Pyke pretty tanky with that W onto is going to be able to get away to safety, but whew, there it is.
Big through Anorthosis. That's exactly what they need to get this bottom side rolling. They've got the double hail of blades actually as well between the Tristana and the Pyke. They need those short trades. They need to catch FLICKR on those bone Pyke skills as mid lane, jungle and mid.
Looking for the lockdown onto Jojo. Chres puts a W up to get himself a bit of space.
Jojo's out of mana.
Being cooked, he's out of mana, but Jojo finds the kill with the auto attack flash and away to safety. He has to dodge the harpoon. One dodge.
Does he just
Can
burn?
he dodge the next? No, he can't. He's cooked. But here comes a Pyke. Here comes the Gangplank. It's the Bilgewater Bros. Lurox is gonna come. Oh my word! It's bonkers. JaxPlank's lives. What?
I promised the blood. Well, I didn't promise, but I said bloodbath probably. And they're delivering right now in the mid lane. 2v2 in the jungle and mid. I don't actually know. I mean, they both died. All 2 of them died. It ended up being the support in the top lane of Anorthosis that show up to the skirmish. And is then that end up, I mean, it's a 2v2 overall, right? So I guess neutral in the overall trade will get the replay. And I think just unfortunately for Anorthosis, Jojo runs out of mana. He can't find the final overload to take down Chres. And it just means that the fight just ends up being a little more extended. It means that Dominant doesn't get the reset either, the form siphon. And with that, could be a totally different fight. Maybe Dominant able to stun up Lurox, keep him locked down so Jojo doesn't die. Maybe they can turn the damage immediately onto the Rumble. It's hard to really say, but I mean, Gangplank finds priority somehow in a Gnar lane, makes it down to this mid lane skirmish, almost burns, and again, Rumble still very much, oh, it's so close. Rumble still very much that champion that deals a whole bunch of bonkers damage. We just saw a bit of a drop off in priority because he can't do those, you know, really ridiculous full clears before the Skullcrab spawns anymore because of those nerfs.
They are looking to potentially gank mid lane, although Levi in his element swimming up that river. I believe he has river walking and the Moby boots, so he is super fast around as Pyke.
Yeah, Pyke's in trouble. He's on the flat. He's dead.
Oh no. Oh, dearie me. Chres is going to jump in, the hook goes wide, they're all going to get taken so low. Jojo with the overload finds the kill. Now Pyke has to be careful, one last hook could steal a second kill for Anorthosis as Levi's coming in. They got the round one, they're bringing Dominant forward here actually. He's going to jump in, he's going up for the lockdown and Dominant able to survive. Whew.
Very, very close.
And hypey.
Yeah, I mean, Anorthosis, they know they can do this. They know they can take these liberties because right now, whilst the Rogue don't have access to the Equalizer or the Vanguard's Edge, they just win out in the skirmishes at the moment. Then they just have less to worry about in general from the likes of Irelia or Rumble. Yes, Rumble still does a whole bunch of damage, and yes, if Irelia's got a minion wave to work with, maybe she's incredibly difficult to lock down, but that just isn't the case in how these skirmishes are playing out. Pyrka caught out in the bottom side. River, speaking of being caught out, JaxPlank in a little bit of trouble here. Pyrka just dings level 6 too, got the Mega Gnar.
He just hit it, he didn't get the barrel in time. He has the orange to keep himself alive at the moment, dodging away on a bunch of his abilities, but it's not enough. One last big bend will send him packing. It's Golden Toast now going pretty low, but actually they're going to go for the re-engage. Look at the jump forward! Golden Toast is a madman! Holy moly!
A little bit over-eager perhaps, but trying to just about catch FLICKR off guard whilst he still didn't have flash, just came up after the play finished. So Anorthosis really playing by the wire in terms of those summoner spell timings. Not able to find success this time around, then Golden Toast has to lose his flash for it. And now, mid lane priority, Lurox moving up with the mid lane. JaxPlank about to have a wave crash into him, and I think he knows it's happening, so much vision. But let's see if he can walk this one out.
He's trying to, but the Q slow is too much. Gets himself one last one off as JaxPlank.
Ooh,
he's an orange.
I think he's out.
Buying a lot of time.
Ooh.
Dodging away on the biggest of bends.
Yeah. And honestly, big win because he didn't really miss out too much, and now return to the bottom side.
Again. Getting himself the hook. Levi doesn't have ultimate. Naturally, now Dominant! Taken down, they've got the lockdown onto Levi, but he's able to get away.
Yeah, and this is Rogue's bottom lane definitely doing a really good job now dealing with some of this pressure. Pyrka dodges, or rather blocks, for FLICKR. The CC chain, specifically the hook. Spectrum War, I don't actually think connects onto anybody, but with the Aftershock, all the resistances Leona can just have. Too tanky. Golden Toast also wasn't there. Now it should be a return kill in the trade, rather. So, all things considered, despite the kill score being even, for now, Anorthosis is actually a little bit over, under now, 1,000 gold as plates will go over. So doing a good job of just keeping things relatively high tempo, relatively high pace. I want to see a little bit more of that out of them, but now that Lurox and Chres both have access to their ultimates, skirmishing just gets a little bit more difficult. You've got to worry about choke points, funneling on top of each other, things of that nature, just because of the amount of AoE damage that can come out. And
yeah.
It's not like that.
Once you have that death from below, though, you'd have bonus gold you can get off team fights, just because of the nature of the gold sharing. So there is that to keep in mind, although it's not quite available for iLevi. He's waiting around in a bit of experience range. I'm not quite sure how close he is to 6, but has been roaming a lot, so it's a little bit in the lacking in the old experience department. But they have rotated first on to this Rift-tailed help shoved in the mid lane. Got the top side push thanks to the Gangplank. It looks like Rogue want to contest this one. Looks like the walls go down. I think they've rotated a little bit too slow, so Dominant going to be able to pick that one up. That's going to be a bunch of plates gifted over. Go Rogue may just look to answer out on the other side of the map with that dragon. But Levi now level 6. Has to be careful. This dragon going to get started up by FLICKR and Lurox, and I don't think Anorthosis are going to be in position to contest this. I think they're quite happy to give it up. Yeah. They may just look to put this Herald down topside, as that's where Dominant is right now.
Yeah, actually, if I can see that correctly, the bottom side tower's on 3 plates. So if Anorthosis want to, dropping the Herald will allow for them to just about take the tower down with a little bit of additional help. And of course, actually the mid lane tower approaching that point where if Anorthosis find the time and the members drop the Herald, that can also drop. And there is relatively limited wave clear on the Go Rogue side. So mid lane tier 1 has a little bit of added value to it in that sense. If Anorthosis Famagusta can drop the Herald there and
look
take
at
that
the
tower.
minimap. Looks like he's going down. Dominant wants to try and pick this one up.
Yeah.
It's going to make its way over. Remember, there is that kill pressure. Now that iLevi has that ultimate, you only have to get them solo. As long as he lands the ulti, it will be the death of somebody down here.
Threshold always changes, just depending on the amount of lethality, and quite frankly, it kind of fluctuates a bit. But you know, you're talking about removing almost 300 HP from everybody if you're hitting that skill shot. Can really change the pace of a team fight just with one execute, because immediately then it means usually you have to go on the retreat, you lose a member earlier than you expect. And of course the added bonus of the gold, especially I can't remember when they buffed it, but it can amount to several thousand.
It's massive.
Gold. Yeah, it's ridiculous sometimes. Quite frankly, as teleport into the mid lane, JaxPlank almost goes down. Has the orange.
Pressure a little bit in this lane.
Yeah. Is the irritating thing about that Gnar when he's in mini, right? Does still get to bully you out as that Gangplank, and you don't necessarily really have the stats either when he goes into Mega to deal with him. He's going towards that Divine Sunder. If he goes for a more sustain heavy build at Divine Sunder, something like a Ravenous Hydra second as well, but it's a very solo QE build, so I don't expect it. Probably the Sterax would be the more likely choice. As spoke about it, the plates on the bottom side were at 3 for this tower for Rogue, so Anorthosis capitalize, get a push, get the Herald dropped in, and they will funnel this gold onto Golden Toast and Dominant, so should be able to back up to base and hopefully in Golden Toast's case pick up a first item, but Dominant should have that Divine Sunderer as well.
It should be very close at the least. There's that a lot of plates picked up by Sinmivak on the other side. Lurox has to be careful as he spots out iLevi. iLevi not really been able to be overly impactful other than that kind of early kill and some of the roams he had off earlier, but it does feel like you said, now that level 6 is coming, now that Equalizer's there, it comes very hard to handle him as JaxPlank gonna get jumped on too, gets himself some movement speed, gets Nard back, flashes away from the W. He will be able to survive for now, but that's a flashless Gangplank, and JaxPlank is very much playing the weak side. We kind of expected this, just from the way the game was kind of drafted, but if he ever steps down here, he still has to be careful. There's multiple people in the area.
Yeah, the map
Pyke
is...
and Lurox, as Levi does spot the pair of them out. He's gonna lose that blue buff.
The map is kind of split at the moment. You can see Jojo and Dominant on the bottom side actually doing the same thing as what we just saw Lurox and Pyrka doing. As Chres gonna catch this wave. And shouldn't be at too much further of a dive, but the Herald, it looks like, did charge onto that tier 2. Given the HP, so we'll be able...
He's Herald top, bot side, mate.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. So I'm saying the Herald charged onto the tier 2, Jake.
Oh, sorry. Yeah. yeah.
It's okay, man. It's alright. It's hot. I'll give you benefit of the doubt. You know, you just... a little bit out of it.
Sometimes brain doesn't work.
Yeah.
What can I say?
Yeah, I know. Happens to the best of us. As are we? It's
I was about to say, are we in slow-mo?
we just entered the Matrix.
I was like, am I lagging?
But yeah, actually kind of surprised that Rogue didn't apply a little more pressure to that top side, just because that tower is almost the foregone conclusion at this point. If they want to send members up there, they will certainly get the tower. But for now, she's playing a slightly slower game. And that is, I suppose, in a way, a lot of the Polish team's style. They don't necessarily like to be very fast in the early to mid game. These are very slow ramping teams in the Ultraliga. In splits gone by. As finally, Sinmivak by himself should take that tower. Now looking for a play onto Lockup, does have flash, but Levi just gonna back away.
They're looking to jump in onto Levi, but Levi finds some space. He's been cooked, he's been equalized, he's been locked down. LFLICKR finds the kill. Heartbreaker to safety from Dominant, is able to get away. Chres jumps in with the Vanguard's edge and the lockdown. The arrow's going wide, but Dominant can just buy enough space. If you can CC Levi long enough, he does die fast.
Yeah, he definitely does indeed. That's the thing about Pyke, you can't really buy any additional HP. Resists, yes, but at the end of the day, he scales entirely off of AD. Only has base scaling HP, so very squishy. Being locked down there is Jojo, trying to find Sinmivak. He's brought a party, actually.
He's brought everybody. The flash for Flash. As Sinmivak able to jump away to safety. They are not done. You're completely right. They're looking to run Sinmivak down. Overload, Rune Prison, Everfrost. You don't get to play League of Legends right now. It's Golden Toast will secure himself the kill. And Anorthosis, they got a wave to work with. They got a Rift Herald to take if they want. And it looks like Golden Coast has got the ability to take this tower. Satchel in the pocket, and we'll have a look at that play in the mid lane.
Yeah, as Levi misses on the bone skewer, does get stunned up, and then stunned up again, and then ruined by the Chains of Corruption. As you rightly said, doesn't get to play the game. Chres actually does connect. Every skill shot flashes forward, but maybe just doesn't feel like he has the lethal range to actually take down Dominant. Doesn't want to take the flip, and speaking of Dominant, on Nerf Terror. We'll pick that one up. So, got those tier 2s on the side, obviously, to work with. That mid lane tier 1, though, again, very limited wave clear on the Yagoro side, so a lot of value in taking it down, if you ask me. But we'll see, because again, of course, those tier 2s, so much gold locked inside them. It's about that trade-off. It's about how you want to play the game or what you want in the moment. What's available to you, I suppose, as well.
We'll keep our eyes on these next few moments and see where that Rift Herald goes. I think opening mid up is going to be really big for Anorthosis. Just buy some, so much space and maneuverability to work around with. But they could take those tier 2s as, after the changes, they are worth, a bit more gold. So it can be a bit more financially worth it. Have to see what the investment's going to be here from Anorthosis.
And I actually love the source shadowing here of Rogue, because the vision on the map sort of split in a way where it's Rogue that have got all the control on the top side. Anorthosis don't necessarily have control in vision on the bottom side, but I mean, they're there, and they can use the art of deduction to realize that, I guess Rogue are on the top side, but it's Rogue sitting there because Anorthosis have tried to make plays onto LFLICKR whilst he's clearing these waves from the bottom side, just preempting stuff as Golden Toast eats quite a lot of damage out of that piercing arrow. Even though Anorthosis did put a lot of pressure in the early game onto Rogue, onto Rogue's AD carry in the first sort of 5-10 minutes, LFLICKR wasn't really set behind, I think, crucially. The important thing. He's got the mana moon stacking up. He's working towards a lethality item now. Usually the Eclipse, of course, is what is the most common. So he's very much online, you can see. I mean, that one went through Levi, hit Golden Toast, and still did about 350 damage. So very much there. Dominant.
Oh, Dominant. He heartbreakers over the wall, goes invisible. Sinmivak looks to run him down. Levi might just lose his life. Oh, no. It's so sad for him. The tower does fall, but the cost is enormous.
I'm just going to say, if the boomerang hit Levi, Levi probably would have lived, and it wouldn't have gone far enough to hit Dominant. That's all. All right. Very unfortunate for the Greek side. Rogue punished Dominant, stepping on their own vision. The Herald still does go down, though. That's the crucial thing. So there's no mid lane tower for Rogue to work with far out on the outside. But Dragon is spawning up, and because Anorthosis, they put so much priority on these Heralds, they are 2 dragons down. So
yeah.
They're going to have to pilot this on well, and I don't know if we could get a look at the gold reserves, please, because I think Jojo has to be approaching the 2 iron mark. Yeah, I can't remember the combined cost off the top of my head. I think if he eats another wave and also sells the crafting pot, he should just about have enough for Archangels. So he should be at that 2 iron mark for the Dragon. Golden Toast.
He's pretty strong.
Yeah, right. Well. Yeah, Jojo is strong anyway, but you really want that 2 iron mark for a fight like this.
Yes.
Where,
absolutely.
Did he even see Levi?
I think he was just outside the circle.
Yeah.
We'll see that ward gone down, so you'll have a good idea that he was about in the area. Yeah. And also you get the little shark fins.
Yeah, of course.
If you're too close to him. So they'll know that he was in this area, but investing a lot of vision towards the top side is Jojo is just constantly shoving in the top side, forcing people to answer. You can already see that tower's actually taking a fair amount of damage just from the mini-map icon. He's been able to do a pretty decent job of getting it low and almost got that Archangels fully stacked.
Yeah, I mean,
as well, he's pretty close to it.
If we're talking about,
he's going to be hitting a huge power spike soon.
Yeah, and actually, let's talk about power spikes in this game whilst we approach the Dragon Mark, the third Dragon fight. JaxPlank isn't going to have that second item, and he's actually a little bit off of level 13. Needs 2 or 3 more waves, so he's not going to have access to that for this fight. Jojo obviously has the 2 items, and so does Golden Toast. So for the most part, Anorthosis are ready to fight for this, but oh my, are they flipping the Baron?
Nah,
they're pinging it.
Risky.
They're pinging it though. That's the thing. I feel like they understand right now. Rogue have a composition which is just so strong at fighting if it's enough staff to come into them on that dragon, and they've already given up that side to the point where they're just saying, I think we just give it up and we try and make them make a split decision. You can already see just by how Golden Toast is hovering and the rest of the team, the pings are there. They want to try and take the Baron on this timer, and let's see if they have the audacity to start up. They know that there's no vision for Rogue, but they will just give up the dragon for free. That's the crucial thing. Not gonna find the Bone Skewer either, so let's see how this is going to work out.
Murder here, but the Realm Warp's coming in. They're bringing members in. Solar Flare goes down. Jojo has been locked in. Everett fosters multiple members. They're looking to reset. X doesn't mind the spot. Golden Toast into the fight. Oh, it's gone so wrong. Gonna go rogue. I'm gonna run away with this one. Why would you bust the shot, man?
It's very tragic for the Greek side, but Rogue, they will punish that Realm Warp, that aggressiveness into the mid lane. Pyrka does such a good job of just keeping Jojo off of his AD carry, and FLICKR so close, so close to being hit by that death from below. We'll get the replay of it, hopefully maybe even a slowdown, as he gets rooted up, locked down. Heartbreaker, I think, just misses by the buster shot, just barely. And I can understand it from Golden Toast. In all fairness, he's expecting it to maybe execute FLICKR, right? Not taking into account the fact that, of course, if it doesn't, it's going to knock him back. And then maybe, of course, if the timing ends up layering in well, Levi still gets the reset. Let's not forget, just because he doesn't necessarily have to outright execute the target. As long as they're on the X when they die, he will get that reset. But anti-synergy's there, and Rogue went out on the fight. They get everything as well. They get the dragon, don't forget, so now they're 1 away from Soul.
It's getting harder and harder, but the one good thing you can take away with this if you're an Anorthosis is Pyke R executes through shields. The problem is if they're low enough to be executed, you've already hit through the shield.
Exactly. In most cases,
so,
that's going to be it. So,
you win some, you lose some, I guess.
I suppose so. Now, Rogue, the gold lead isn't massive. It's only 1,000 in the lead, but they are certainly on their iron spikes. You know, Sinmivak's hit that 2 iron point. Lurox is approaching Zhonya's, but honestly, you know, first iron rumble in 2021 is usually where Levi.
Oh no! Oh, swim!
Swim fish!
Oh, I mean, that buster shot didn't help. No. It didn't make anything worse, but it didn't help.
Yeah. Well, with that pick, Rogue may feel comfortable to move over to the Baron, but Anorthosis trying to make a pick onto Sinmivak.
I mean, that's a mega knife. How the hell do you think you're going to win that one? He's just walloping.
My
he is
God.
Just absolutely bopping these members. Jojo, though, very much on a power spike. Can he get out before he's cooked? I don't think he can. Pyke's running him down. Jojo gets the movement speed.
He's on the
equalizer is going to end him.
He can't move.
Put another Ryze on the Barbie.
Where can he go? The answer is nowhere, unfortunately. Really well placed equalizer by Lurox. And Anorthosis, they tried to respond to losing their support in the mid lane, but just turned around on them. Like you say, Mega Gnar, so many stats, so much CC. Dominant takes too many tower shots. Honestly, that tower, can we get a look at tier 2? Because I think it's so low that they maybe could have just hit it, to be honest with you, and then maybe gone for the dive. I mean, we'll get the replay to maybe emphasize that point as well. Levi, just, why? I guess is my question. Goes over the wall with that Phantom Undertow, and it just puts him in a very compromised position where he gets stunned up, locked down. Then on the bottom side, I mean, I guess the wave just quite not there. So can't really hit the tower, and the Mega Gnar just forces them underneath the tower. Healing and the passive, the Divine Sunderer almost gets him out, but not quite enough. Shut down to Jojo in the response, but I mean, it's the equalizer from Lurox, which it's just well placed. Where can you go? I suppose is, like you say, Ryze on the Barbie. Poor guy just roasts on the red carpet.
Nowhere for him to go. I mean, we're seeing him being capable of doing a lot of damage. He's got himself the buildings of that Void Staff as the third item as well, which I think is going to be very, very high value from JaxPlank. And I feel like this game is very much in his hands. You got 0-5 dominant. You got Levi, unfortunately, getting caught out quite a lot as well. Anorthosis definitely had their backs to the wall here.
Yeah.
The Go Rogue. Remember, they need this win to stay relevant in the runnings for playoffs. I mean, technically same for Anorthosis, but the expectations for a Go Rogue definitely a little bit higher right now.
Exactly, and for Anorthosis in this game, usually we talk about dominant when it comes to Anorthosis, right? He's been the man for the last year or so, where it's like, shout out to E-Masters, okay, this guy gets rolling, Anorthosis look okay. Not the case in this game, and it's the do or die game as well. If they lose this game, oh no, they are not going to be able to progress to quarterfinals. Rogue need a little bit more, and they're going to face check here.
There it is. That's going to be the kill. X didn't mark the spot, but they got the Realm Warp, and Dominant's going to be the one to be brought forward.
Oh, he's got the Leona form.
Looking to lock down. He has the Leona form. Has the Siphon. And Sinmivak is the two-man Gnar back, but they don't have the Equalizer. And Anorthosis find themselves the team fight win.
And at a pivotal time as well, because they get to deny away the soul. That is the crucial thing. Having to deal with soul is just such an oppressive thing with the shields. And actually, wait. Ooh, this is cookie jar stuff. This is really big cookie jar stuff. Dominant and Golden Toast on this Baron. The rest of the pie on the Dragon, but they're going to double teleport in, so this should be secure. Lurox, however, does have flash. They can't 50, but he's going to get...
He doesn't have a life. He doesn't have a health bar. That's going to be the shutdown. Chres trying to find himself the kill, but they're able to jump back out. Baron and Dragon. They had their hands in both cookie jars, and they get away with it.
Anorthosis are trying to drag Rogue down with them right now. They pick up the Baron, they find the picks. And right now as well, should be able to try and take down what's remaining of those inner towers. Starts off with the Leona just face checking, trying to procure vision for his team. It's not like it's an overstep where he's got no one or it's an isolated death. It's a coordinated effort from Rogue, and with Leona going down, it gives Dominant the form. The CC lockdown is there. LFLICKR doesn't get to move, and Sinmivak as well does just get blown up again by Dominant, stealing away the Varus form. Executes him on that front, and then they just split the focus. 2 go down or 3 go down to the Dragon, 2 go up towards the Baron, and once Lurox gets a little bit too close, Rune Prison into all of the burst damage. Zonius can't save you from that. Now Rogue in a
got the Void Staff on JaxPlank as well, so he is now level 16, 3 items on the Ryze, incredibly farmed, incredibly fed, and a genuine threat for a Go Rogue. If they can't deal with this Ryze, they are going to be in for a whole world of hurt. As the tower goes down, Dominant gets a bit of gold in his pocket. He needs it at this point. He is pretty far behind.
He does, but he'll still be able to provide a fair amount of use as sieging up on the bottom side. I think JaxPlank on the top side of the map as well should slowly but surely be able to whittle away at that tier 2 and secure that. And in the mid lane, you can already see too. Golden Toast. Gonna pick that one up, and top side tower yielded so much gold going over to Anorthosis right now. Gonna be extended to a 4k gold Baron power play once that tier 2 in the top side goes down. Bottom side, Jojo!
Oh no! Oh no! Remember, he's the carry! He can't go down! He's able to jump away! Dominant might just lose his life. He's Heartbreakers! He's getting cooked here as they find the hook on the breaker. He's also going low! The lockdown's huge, but he flashes over the stun!
Wait.
Meanwhile, in the top lane, JaxPlank is just taking the tower, and
He can kill him! He can kill him! He can kill him!
He can kill him! Like you said, he's got the trial by fire, the barrel reset on that as well. Sinmivak able to survive this fight. This game is starting to get heated.
It's starting to get heated indeed. Levi could face check into Lurox.
He's found him. He's found him. He's okay.
Okay. He's fine. Still had flash as well as the Phantom Undertow, but you'd be surprised how much damage Rumble can do. I remember, you know, we don't see him often these days, but he's still that champion, which 100 to 0U if he overheats. Across the board, you know, Dominant, yes, does go down on the bottom side, and I think Jojo did just about escape with life. Still does have the shutdown, so it should be the case. Baron push thwarted, but you look at the Baron power play, they managed to get a little bit under 300 net gold in the, 3,000 rather, net gold, whilst they had the Baron. And it should just about give them enough control to keep a vision line high up in Rogue's jungle so that when this dragon spawns in 90 seconds time, they can actually deny the soul. And yeah, Lurox just caught out because they can see the barrels coming over the wall. You can see where Levi is. So that's forced to flash.
Understandable as Joe. Stole it away with the trial by fire.
Even throws up the face. He knows he's upset. Those darn top laners taking all my resources.
He's one item from being done, though.
Yeah.
Jojic is if that I assume will be a death cap, he is going to be melting people.
It's already dealing so much damage now. Death cap will just make it all the more worse for Rogue to have to deal with. As looks like they're going to keep Dominant and Jojo up here in this sort of 2-2-1. Gangplank relatively comfortable on the bottom side. We saw how much healing that Divine Sunderer gives him when he was hitting the Gnar. And of course with the oranges and Flash himself, very hard champion to lock down.
And Tiamat, Serpent's Fang as well, nice one. He's got a lot of nice little abilities here to work with. Jojic starting this one up. Sinmivak looking to run him down. Wow, that's a lot of damage from Jojic. He's on the equalizer for now, and Dominant's buying some space. They're coming in with a flank though.
He's in their base.
Barrage used, and he's buying some time for the team just to start up the inhibitor, change the corruption, start to flank and wide, and Dominant is still alive.
What?
How did he live? What the hell?
Out.
Dominant! You are playing absolutely unleashed. He's dodging everything. JaxPlank gonna get himself away for the moment. Chres trying to get closer. Dominant is honestly just a burglar. What?
Daylight robbery from Dominant. How he escapes from that, I don't know, but it's actually Rogue with the positioning towards the Dragon. I don't know if they necessarily realize it because they've got to focus on this topside push. Anorthosis will back away. They feel pressure to have to respond to this. Rogue could have just slipped away. Oh, Sinmivak.
Oh, no. They might just start to turn this one around. That's going to be a kill for Gangplank. The equalizer's pretty
And
big.
the health bar, though.
Jojic is dead. It's all on the Tristana, who's instantly cut down. They thought they found their opening, and they just didn't.
It's so cheeky from Anorthosis, but at the same time, it's such an unnecessary risk to take at a moment like this. You could get the reset off, you could get back to the bottom side of the map. Rogue felt pressure to respond to the top side push. Rogue weren't trying to take the map split or anything like that. I'm not sure if Anorthosis maybe felt like Lurox was on the bottom side. I'm not sure if they actually had vision on him or not. But either way, it doesn't matter. Now the end result is Rogue are going to get the soul in a position where realistically they probably should have been choked out even further.
They do have that Serpent's Fang on the Gangplank, so they do have, the ability to cut through this shielding somewhat, and almost level 18 as well. Have a look at this. It looked like they found a great pick. Maybe they were scared that Sinmivak would just cancel the resets, and they just thought they'd kill him instead.
Yeah, I suppose so. I mean, it's real nice from Levi cheeky, you get the extension from the Orma, you flash over to get the Phantom Manto, but the equalizer and all of this, it's just too much. It's just too much for Anorthosis to deal with. They eat too much AoE damage, and they can't find lethal onto anybody either, crucially. No reset off Luck and no reset off Pyrka. Levi also burned at the very start of the fight. I don't think I've seen Levi get a death from below.
I actually...
Does he have any bonus gold?
I don't think we have.
Is that something I can ask for?
I don't know if we can check that. If our observer can quickly hover the death from below on Levi, it'd be nice to see if he's been able to pick up any extra gold, but I don't think he's been able to get one. I think it may at best be one.
To me, the fact that he's got only 500 more gold than Pyrka and he has a kill kind of just tells me enough. I don't think he's got a single reset off it.
Yeah, I think it's been a pretty rough one for him. He's
Yes.
still sitting on the single item, working towards his Dusk Blade as his next item. Obviously, wanted that Umbral Glaive for the vision clearing capabilities that it does offer, but I mean, Jojic and Dominant can do a hell of a lot of damage to this, and Levi can just pretend to be clearing vision out here. They're going to bring Golden Toast in, and actually, Go Rogue are just sleeping. They're not getting here in time. It's Gonzo.
Yeah, quarter pants down. Not enough control around this top side. I mean, they do have the soul. It's the permanent buff, but Baron, when your map is broken and exposed like this, it's going to be hard to deal with as Levi. Oh, my.
Able to jump out.
Yeah.
But look at the bottom side of the map.
Yep.
And you've got JaxPlank almost full build. He's got the Tiamat, so he just clears through ways like it's nothing. Chres can't really do too much, and here comes that big clear when you got that Hydra barrel.
Trying to find Jojo.
He's getting jumped onto. He's got himself caught out the moment. The equalizer's on into a stopwatch. Great little buster shot to buy some space. Jojo coming in. Has to jump out, but Lurox will kill him in time. Dominant goes in for the stopwatch. Now they're onto JaxPlank, but JaxPlank does a lot of damage himself. It's very, very scary. Very hard to step forward. Tower goes down to the minion wave. Jojo twice in a row feeling the pressure from this rumble, but a go.
Oh, Chres!
Trouble, actually, they might just look for him. The death from below's blocked out by the stopwatch. He doesn't find another one as he jumps away. Got himself that Guardian Angel, and Dominant now may be in trouble as he can't steal any forms. Levi has to jump away. Dominant loses his life. Oh my lord, Jamada, this is a crazy game.
I've got to say, potentially game-saving stopwatches from the solo laners of Rogue there. If Sinmivak doesn't have that stopwatch, Death from Below comes in, keeps the reset. The pressure and tempo rollover is huge, and Chres as well. Stopwatches, actually no, it's Chres that stopwatched Death from Below, and Sinmivak that dodged away from the Heartbreaker. So either way, point still stands. Rollover pressure would have been massive. Keeps Rogue alive. Having to deal with this Baron, which is going to drop off in a minute's time. Now the bottom side is open, the inhibitor is exposed. Mid lane, the tower is quite low. But it's about whether Anorthosis really have enough time with Dominant still spawning in 5 seconds to actually make more of an impact onto the map. And as you just heard the announcer say, top lane inhibitor is going to be respawning. So this period of pressure that Anorthosis had is finally going to drop off, and Rogue may now have a little bit more breathing room.
They may just have that little moment, but they do have to worry that his Baron is still on a couple of the members of Anorthosis. Levi swimming around. We'll spot out Lurox, at least it's a rough idea of where he is. So teleport's coming in actually on the long flank here. They're looking to bring someone in. Sinmivak spots out Dominant, but Dominant does see him, so burning the teleport kind of for nothing. Jojic though has the information, but they're on this side of the map, so he needs to step away. But top side, JaxPlank is just going to take this, and no one's in range to even contest it. He's going to step away, doesn't want to get himself caught out and die, but they're actually chasing on the other side, looking for a kill on to Jojic. Remember, he's still the one who's doing just an abysmal, I said abysmal, a disgusting amount of damage, and the final tower that isn't guarding a Nexus will crumble to Anorthosis. This game has looked so Go Rogue favored, but just little by little, Anorthosis are finding these small opportunities to pull themselves into a position where this just got out of hand. It felt like a Go Rogue were winning, and then suddenly they're 9 towers to 3.
Yeah.
They're just a massive amount of gold up. It's just the dragons, I think, that's been a little deceptive.
Yeah, for a fair period of time, right? You know, the dragon control kind of allowed Rogue to stand, and then Anorthosis picked up that first Baron, and things started to go a little wayward for the Ultra League team. But standing on 2 feet right now, Elder's going to spawn in 40 seconds though, and that's the crucial thing. Anorthosis for the past, feels like 10, maybe even 15 minutes, have had control of the jungle of Rogue. So they're going to have to be the ones that likely check into this. Unless Rogue can find a pick beforehand, it's going to be very, very tricky. You're walking into Gangplank, Ryze, such a short-range composition, so vulnerable to getting bursted. Dominant actually might have a flank angle here.
Does indeed. JaxPlank's looking for the barrel, actually gets it cancelled out as they jump in. The cannon price has gone down already. Pyke has lost his life. Sinmivak's on the flank. They're just going to put Jojic away from the action as they have to just deal with Sinmivak, while JaxPlank and Levi doing all the work to keep this one going. He goes in for the stun, and a bit of a weird one, if I'm going to be honest with you on that one, as the barrel is interrupted. Jojic has the honey fruit to heal up. They lose their support. They trade for the other support. Supports are down aplenty.
Yeah, I mean, it's a head scratcher, really, really big head scratcher. If Anorthosis still have, wait a minute, where's that realm warp going? Looking for Gnar. He's cut off. Did they even? He's got to know. Does he not? I mean,
oh, he doesn't know, but he's able to jump away. Golden Toast forces the flash out. Good chance of corruption. Bad equalizer. They're able to not hit any of the carries, and now that's the go time. Golden Toast flash.
Got a reset.
Finds himself the shutdown. He's found himself the reset.
They're gonna do it.
Picked up for him. He's looking for the triple kill. The resurrection's coming in, and now Sinmivak has to run away. That's going to be the kill for Dominant. He's stolen away the form of his own Varus. Anorthosis have found their opportunity, and Chres go for the hero play. Got a Guardian Angel, finds himself one. The resurrection's coming in a Pyke. Can he keep him alive? Can he save the day? Chres flashes out. Chres is taken down by Golden Toast, and that is going to be all she wrote here for a Go Rogue. Anorthosis, it took them 39 minutes. They lost Soul, but they got oh so many Barons. They are going to find their first win of the group stage and make this life so much harder for a Go Rogue. We're getting spicy. Things are getting heated in Group A.
Not going to anyone's expectations right now. Anorthosis pick up a win against the Go Rogue. And I mean, quite frankly, well deserved. I think they had a very strong draft coming into it, and I think a Go Rogue, you know, definitely had avenues to play towards, but you know, the mid 2v2 didn't really get played or lent into. FLICKR and Pyke weren't really able to be funneled resources. Sinmivak's lead wasn't really expressed very heavily either. And I think Anorthosis, even though we normally talk about Dominant being the guy that's the vocal point of the team, it was more Jojo, it was more Golden Toast, and then, of course, JaxPlank towards the late stages on the side lane. So, well played to the Greek side. Who knows, maybe this is the miracle run day for them.
Maybe it is. Maybe it is the miracle run. I don't know. We'll have to find out, to be honest, because, you know, it was a good game, but they've still got to now take on UCAM. They've still got to take on Misfits Premier. It's an uphill battle. Can they do it? We'll talk a little bit more about that after this, but we're going to throw to a break, so we'll see you in a second. It's going to flash in, and he steals the Baron. How does that connect by Edgeway?
Fini! As EU Masters Champions!
everybody, and welcome back to the Amazon EU Masters. We're coming off, honestly, a very exciting game number 2 for the GLL first seed, Anorthosis Famagusta did find themselves a win over a Go Rogue, the Ultra League's third seed from Poland, and an unexpected win, and it really shakes things up. Jamada and me were chatting in the break, and now the only way both a Go Rogue and Anorthosis can make it out of the playoffs, out of the group, sorry, into the playoffs, is if everyone goes 3-3. And it's a great start for Anorthosis because they needed to go 3-3 anyway this week.
Yeah, they need to go 3-0 anyway if they had any semblance of a chance. But now, because of the, of course, the UCAM Misfits result, it would mean that everyone has to finish 3-3 to make out. Would be pretty funny. But yes, of course, looking back at this game, Anorthosis, I just felt like from the get-go had a very strong sort of angle to play at this draft with in the early game. And then also as the game progresses, just, how these two teams should interact with each other in most cases. It felt like it would be Rogue walking into all of these, AoE zone control abilities, whether it be the barrels, or whether it be Can Barrage, whether it be the overloads with the Essence Flux and all that good jazz. It felt like Rogue would just kind of struggle, and it all started to fall apart for Rogue off the back of this pick, because as soon as this pick happened, it meant that they were able to snowball the fight a little bit more. Obviously, not Levi, Dominant picks up the form of the Leona, and once Luck is dead, this fight is kind of just a wash, and they deny the soul. And not only do they deny the soul, because that was kind of Rogue's main looking win condition, they get the Baron and they just open up the map from there.
It's such a lovely flash as well by Gontos to get over the wall, just position himself away from the floor of the Duet, and honestly, just an incredible turnaround. For me, it just honestly felt like I was looking at the dragons and not really looking at that creeping gold.
Yeah.
And before we knew it, Anorthosis had just been sieging for ages and taking over the game. I mean, you got 34k damage on your Varus, you got 28k damage on your Gnar, but it didn't amount to enough. It was just the control of the map that Anorthosis had. And, they didn't need Elder Dragon, they didn't need Soul, they didn't need to stack dragons at all. They just needed to make sure that they made those heads-up Baron plays, and 2 Baron plays back-to-back. Very, very heads-up from the side of Anorthosis, got themselves to the win. And, it's a really, really big win for them. It does still mean things have to go completely right, I think.
Stars have to align.
Like you said,
today.
if a Go Rogue lose to UCAM in the next game, I think, is it impossible for them? No,
Misfits,
it's just...
Misfits would then have to lose both of their next games, additionally.
Yes,
and then
that's how it
have
goes.
to lose, win their remaining games. So,
yeah. There's a lot in the air right now, is basically the way to boil it down. But we actually have the jungler for the side of Anorthosis standing by. So, Dominant, we're going to bring him in. First of all, big congratulations on that win. What's the mood right now in the camp?
I mean, we are just like hyped, We are really hyped, but I don't know, like we are trying our best, and that's all we could do for now. Like we come here with not a lot of practice, We had some problems, like a lot of weird stuff happening, But we're trying our best.
I mean, honestly, it looks like you were trying that game. You were really playing your hearts out, and you found yourself, the win. But, you've now got some uphill battles. You've got to take on UCAM. You got to play on Misfits Premier. What are the general thoughts towards those teams right now? Because obviously they are 2 of the stronger teams in this group.
Yeah.
What's the confidence levels like?
I mean, we're just gonna go in and do our best, Like, we almost beat UCAM, like, on our first game. Like, we are ahead and stuff like that, but we are not that good of a team, so we just messed it up, and like it cost us the game. But we want to go in and play our game and like see what happens. We're gonna give our best, and that's all.
But I want to actually ask you about the team in general, because it's just yourself and Jojo, of course, coming from Spring. I think your Spring performance in EUM as well won the hearts of a lot of fans, I feel. But what's the progression from Spring through GLL Summer, obviously playoffs, and then to EUM, been like obviously swapping out the bottom side and then additionally the top laner?
Can you ask again? I didn't get
like, what's the how's like the progression of like the team for you and Jojo felt like, because you obviously swapped out the bottom lane and the top side?
Yeah, we had some problems with with other roster, and like we just tried new stuff, new players. Like we screamed a lot, and it feels a bit better, but we didn't practice that much, to be honest. Like it was a bit weird for us. Like, I don't know, we had some problems with coaching staff and stuff like that, but we're trying to fix it now. But it's a bit late, but we're trying to fix some things.
Are we going to see the Garen jungle? Is that something we're going to see? You hovered it. I remember it from last time around, man. I want to see it.
Yeah, I want to pull it out, but you know, there are so many OP junglers. But I mean, Garen can smash them. Like, I think Garen can smash Xin, Lee, and stuff like that. But we can probably see it. Like, if we have like 0 chances, maybe we can pull it out like last game. But it can happen. It can happen. We're thinking of it.
Okay, so we'll round this out. What have you guys learned during the CE Masters? Because, you know, it's a very tough group stage. I think every group is pretty scary. What's the key thing that you guys are going to take away from the CE Masters? Win or lose, make it out into the play-ins, or it runs here today. What do you think the key thing you're going to take away and have learned from this Summer E Masters?
It's mostly about our picks, I think. Like, we don't have a lot of good... like good champion pool, and like this showed up with Rogue. Like, we played they got Azir. Like, we didn't expect Azir. Like, we never played almost against Azir and stuff like that, and we just learned that we have like to play more champions and more playstyles, you know, because we are like we don't have insane champion pools, and we're getting punished because like everyone is playing everything.
I mean, yeah, it's one of those things when, you know, you're playing versus some very, very storied players, very experienced players, and also very experienced rosters and big organizations and things like that. Of course, there's going to be things you're going to, like, you know, learn. And, you know, champ pools are, you know, something that I think a lot of people kind of forget about is, you know, that if there are champions you haven't seen for a while or haven't been meta during the time you've been playing as a unit, how to play around those champions can be forgotten or, you know, maybe unlearned somewhat. So, you know, it's actually one of those things people do forget about. But, you know, I think you guys have won the hearts of a lot of fans, honestly. You guys have played that game especially, absolutely bonkers game. Congratulations on the win. Good luck with your games coming up, mate. We'll speak to you later, all right? See you later.
Thank you. See ya. Bye-bye.
It is interesting hearing about the champ pools, actually, because that is one of those things that you do kind of forget about. It's just one of those things. But anyway, a bit of a lengthy interview. We are getting ready to go into our third game of the day. That is going to be a Go Rogue versus UCAM. So we'll be back with that one. See you in a moment.